All right, so I've seen like a million people react to this, but the reason I want to react to it now, like forever later, is because what I see in her comment section that has me thinking what for one what I thought pretty privilege meant and how pretty privilege what it seems to mean to them. Because see, I thought pretty privilege meant that people want to do stuff for pretty women. Like this, that's it. Like this, see a pretty chick. Oh, let me help you with your bags. You see a pretty chick. I don't know, walking towards the door. Some dudes sprint like Sonic to the door to open. I thought that's what pretty privilege was. But according to her comment section, pretty privilege is basically um, it's right back to men. It's not even about what happens to them. It seems like it's right back to men. Let's do this. Video.
And a lot, unfortunately. And I wanted to speak about it honestly somewhere because I feel like it's not popular to address it honestly. The subject that I'm talking about, if you saw the title of this video, is pretty privilege. And for anybody who doesn't know, the concept of pretty privilege is that you basically get treated better in life the more attractive you are. I think I've
Okay, so in the video, at least at the beginning, she addresses it like the way I thought it is. But as I guess as the story progresses, maybe she just uses bad examples, and I should have watched the whole video. We'll see.
I've always been aware that it's out there. I've always been aware that, people, specifically women, can use their looks as currency as they move through a patriarchal society. They can use it to get better mates. They can use it to get better jobs. They can use it to get jobs that regular looking females, regular looking women, I hate that I said females, who do I think I am? Regular looking women could.
Ladies, why is the word females a slur now? I don't get that. The best explanation, it was very stupid. It was basically, oh, it refers to women as livestock. I guess because anything can be female, so you need a specific human woman on it, right? So dumb. You've never heard somebody say, "Oh, it's a girl dog," like ever.
Could never get, like being a hostess at an upscale club or things of that nature. It didn't really bother me until I got a little older and
Okay, this is going to be one of those videos that I pause, and it's already half an hour, so I'm guessing this is going to be like an hour and a half video. Um, Look at that analogy she just used. A hostess at an upscale club. That's what came to your mind for pretty privilege. Never mind earlier when you said get better men, which you people never do. Well, not never, but you don't do it. Pretty is your pretty privilege when you look at it, how they use it. It's only used for fuck shit. Free drinks, free dinner, free fucking car repairs. It's only used for fuck shit. It's never like, hey, I can use my pretty privilege to like make sure that my kids. No. No, no, no. No. Just fuck shit. New hills.
I started to take stock of different things that I didn't have in my life, which I think we do all the time. People compare themselves to other people. It happens.
And by better men, I am sure she means richer men or men with money. Because like they've said before, when somebody like Lonnie Love who can't get a rich man, the rich men are terrible people. So I'm pretty sure the better men is solely a money thing. Because if she stays in her lane, gets a guy there, and they live happily ever after, how the hell is that a better? How the hell is the woman? I guess he has better looks will make him the better man. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about that.
And I started to just think about all the things in my life that probably would have been a little bit easier if I had some pretty privilege. So I want to make something clear before I go forward. I am not at all saying in this video that I find myself unattractive. I actually think of myself as a okay looking person, and I can really dial it up, when necessary. Here, by the way, is a picture of
I need to see a better version of that picture because that picture, I guess the blur at the bottom. I need to see a better version of that picture.
me celebrating my most recent birthday. Um, but pretty privilege is not something that you yourself can decide that you have, if that makes sense. Like a lot of privileges, it's something that society just gives you based on what the systems of society already are, like before you even got there. So no matter how confident I might be, no matter how much I might spend on a certain type of wig or a certain makeup application style, I'm never going to have pretty privilege.
And now y'all see why we hate that shit because you can go from okay to damn, and we've seen the before and afters. Now y'all see why we hate that shit.
And it does bother me, and I wanted to be honest about it. I think so often, especially with Black women, we're told to just, keep your head up, sis. Don't drop your crown, sis. Oh, no, not you, sis. You're strong. You're beautiful. But because of that, there's really no space sometimes just to say, ouch, like that hurts my feelings. It hurts that I'll never ... And especially for something as superficial as just the way that I look.
Welcome to the club. Congratulations, you're all jokes aside. Congratulations, you're a man. You actually have to do stuff for stuff you want. Like what do you want? Oh, it sucks that I can't really have sympathy for this. Well, I'm not saying she wants sympathy, but it's like now, like not all the times where you hear people on streams and the dude's like, "No, you understand, women are this. You understand, women are this, and they want this, and this," and everybody's like, "Oh, shut up." I wonder is she gonna has she been told the same thing?
Take a moment in this video and talk about my experience in life.
Because and I say that because she's not. It doesn't sound like she's crying about it. Sounds like she's actually taking it with a like just talking about the situation, which guys have been told that they can't do.
Not having pretty privilege. And I really made this video for anybody that feels the same way. I know I'm not the only person. I've read articles online and I've seen comment sections where I know I'm not the only person. However, I know right now a lot of the videos on YouTube about pretty privilege are just people breaking down what it is. Or people saying, hey, you may not feel like you have pretty privilege, but you do. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to be honest about my experiences and yeah. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to pretty privilege is I want to talk about just the different things I noticed that really started to bother me that I'd never experienced just as a woman because I don't have pretty privilege. So I showed you guys that picture earlier of me on my birthday. And that picture is important to me because that picture kind of set off this whole idea of wanting to make this video. I never before really participated in any of these stereotypical rituals of going out and dressing up a certain way. And that's because I discovered at a really young age that when I'm at the club, I'm going to be paying for my own drinks. I was not the type of woman that men would.
Cat, cat. I've heard of maybe they were lying, but I've heard of like big girls, ugly chicks, all that saying that that some guy bought him a drink and tried to blah 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 blah. You had to like, what did you do? Stand in the bathroom? I've seen like far, like chicks who weren't even okay looking talk about getting drinks bought for them and whatnot. Yeah, could have been lying, but I call cap on it. I have to.
that men would really even approach. So early in my life, I was like 22, 23, and for sure at 25, I decided I wasn't going to go out anymore. So all of my outings, all of my fun, like let's get together, all of those things happened at bars and pubs. A lot of the times places where I knew that nobody who I would be attracted to would be there. And I did that.
What? Attractive dudes don't go to the bar? That's first of all, that's horrible logic. Two, so you weren't getting what I'm sure you weren't getting the quality of guys approach you because I would never buy any woman ever that no man has ever. Because even if you are ugly, dudes who think they can get an easy nut out of you will approach you. So the whole you don't get a stop it, stop. But because you didn't get the quality guys you wanted, you decided to go and live. Go, I'm not going out anymore. And so what did you do? Relied on hookup apps, which did what? Uh, no, there's no guarantee you did that. But I'm saying is, can't see any other alternative. So what exactly? Because if you found somebody, maybe at work or something, I'm pretty sure this wouldn't be a video. If it is a video, shit, that was shit on your boyfriend. So let's continue.
As a defense mechanism, right? I knew if I dress up and I go out to a certain place and I'm ignored, it's going to hurt my feelings. So I didn't want to do that. However, for this birthday, I decided, you know what? I've been watching YouTube tutorials for years. I'm going to lay a lace front wig. I'm going to do my brows. I'm going to get a dress off of Fashion Nova. Whatever you feel about Fashion Nova, trust me, I feel it too. I have thoughts. But outside of the
I want to just the part we said I'm going to get a lace front. Can y'all just like sometimes like maybe comb your hair, pick it out if it's a fro, wash your face, and like put on regular clothes and step into the world? Like the picture she showed, where it's like you stripped down with nothing like that. It's how I asked this question before to a chick. Well, actually a few of them because I noticed it like 5 years ago. I had to ask these chicks, what is it up with y'all needing to be perfect? I think I told the story before, but here it goes again. This pretty chick, she was small, petite, skinny. All she had was the face. She didn't have no butt. She had no boobs. She wasn't all curvilicious. She was mad pretty. She decided to take a supplement she saw online to make herself thicker, but all it did was make her body gain weight in certain places. One of those places, the bottom of her stomach, the bottom of her ass. So she went from pretty, skinny, small to pretty, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck. Why didn't she just stay at pretty? Now, this was 5 years ago. Don't know how she looks now. Probably lost it all. Why couldn't she stay at pretty?
the clothing that they make that is meant to accentuate unrealistic body types. They have some beautiful and very well priced things as well. So I'll just say I'm not a huge fashion person. I don't have a lot of disposable income. I know there's places out there that I can shop and but for me, I went to them and I got this gorgeous dress. I'm gonna show here. Loved it. It fit the theme of my party, which was mermaid because I'm a Pisces. And yeah, I felt really pretty that night. And I remember walking into the restaurant just feeling like, and my friend even got me like a little crown. And I remember walking into the restaurant.
Like, I have to ask this question too. It's the same question Kevin has asked before, but What's wrong with matchmakers? Well, now that I think about it, I know what's wrong with them. If you get matched with, like I watched Married at First Sight, and people when they're not completely like satisfied, like this one guy, he could have been just a crazy ass dude, but he got a chick about her complexion, about the chick had a ridiculous body, like it, like it was crazy. But his reaction was, damn, damn, my tight. Like y'all ain't get the face right. It's like this, like this chick obviously. I mean, if she get a dude who likes weave, apparently, but this chick would do well with a matchmaker. Somebody who looks at papers, the pictures, and then look at the stats and go, all right, use it. And then just live with it. But no, I can tell by the shit she's wearing in that picture because I really hate this look that women put on. I hate. I'm bad at fashion, so what the fuck do I know? But I hate this type of look. But I just don't get it. Why not just be able to just find somebody who's normal as you and run with it? No.
And just feeling like, okay, like if anybody is going to notice me, it's going to be tonight wearing this. I walked in and there was a group of guys sitting.
Does that not prove that a lot of their self esteem is attached by the shit that they put on? I hold on. So I think the best way for me to relate to that is like when I was like a teenager, I thought like a pair of shades like elevated my looks like a lot. Like I wore them like I don't know if like a week straight, just never took them off, maybe. But I don't think I've ever been so attached to a look where my whole identity was like, nah, I know I'm attractive because this fitted cap is on or whatever. What the fuck? I don't. I never did it.
Down at a table. All guys looked like they were single guys. You can never tell, but they were around my age, so mid 30s, early 30s. And I walked in, and not a single person turned around to make eye contact with me. Nobody budged. I was looking kind of around the restaurant. You know, like you feel really pretty, so you're kind of looking just to see if anybody's, all eyes on me. That kind of thing.
That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why we're just to get looked at and tell all the like maybe two at the most. No, no, I'm just here to flex. It gets to a point where it's like, yeah, I know what she wants, whatever. That shit gets annoying.
Thing. And nobody's eyes were on me. Nobody cared. And so I immediately humbled myself and I was like, okay, well, maybe people are just trying to eat. Maybe these guys, I think that they're single guys and they're around my age, but maybe actually they're dads who get this one night out a week and they have wives at home and they're just not worried about me like that. Okay, cool. I will take all of my expectations and push them down,
Who
right?
thought of all of
My friend
that?
walks in a little bit later.
Nobody would
She's
think that.
definitely lighter skinned. She is half Creole, Haitian, half white. And I actually, when I first saw her, I didn't even know she identified in any way as black. Like there was no way for me to tell. I didn't see it at all. But she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm black." She's of mixed race, and she dyes her hair blonde, or either it's naturally blonde. So it's tough to kind of be able to phenotypically say, "Oh, that's a black girl." Like she definitely is somebody who I actually thought she was Hispanic. That's what I thought, and I know she's married to a Mexican man, but I thought she was Hispanic. She also has a decent sized chest, and she walked in and she had the girls out, and just her natural face, and she had her hair up in this beautiful ponytail. All those men that I like 5 minutes before had been like, "Oh, they're busy. That's why they didn't look at me." They were like, All eyes were on her, not even the dudes. There were people in booths, or people, like, everybody turned to look at this girl. And I said, there it is. There's pretty privilege. The ability to walk into a room and know.
It's your birthday. And what you're worried about is she gets more attention. On your birthday, you're worried about that she got more attention than you. I don't know, maybe you should have been in a relationship at this point. And you would have got all of the attention you wanted. But then you wouldn't have been happy because it came from the one person who you felt you were entitled for attention from. And it's like, where the fuck do you win in these situations? This is why if I were a dating coach, I would just tell average dudes like, bruh, just swipe right all fucking day. Because you in a relationship, this is it. It's going to be this never ending, constant, hey, I need more attention. I need more attention. Let's go out. Why do you want to go out so much? What's wrong with being at home? I don't know. I just need to go out. So the 8 niggas at the bar can look at her.
You didn't waste one bit of makeup, one, hair roller, one. You didn't waste it. You're going to go out and people are going to notice. And she actually met her husband.
Because natural beauty is better than the shit y'all put on. We've been saying. Lover Boy Drake even has it in like 7 songs.
I have a lot of friends who aren't married. And they, unlike me, they still think they're going to get married. No shade at all to them, but I know, like, the likelihood of me getting married is so low that I don't.
All right. Go to, and this is coming from a truck driver. So I'm telling you this. Look up the truck driving schools in your area. Go to like the closest 3. Tell them you want to be married. I know it's going to look desperate because people aren't used to this, which I think people need to do more often. Just tell them you want to get married. You're looking for a husband. Or have somebody do it for you to save you the embarrassment. I guarantee that you are at some point going to get married. Google matchmaker. Say, hey, I just need a guy who is, no STDs, no criminal background, and like work consistency. You're going to find a match because average everyday Joes, like average everyday things like yourself, are in abundance. You're only not going to get married because what I'm witnessing on this video. On your birthday, we go out, especially not even because of the video, but because of past experiences. What I understand now, but definitely because of this video. If we got married and we go out on if we go out at all ever to do anything, grocery shopping. Now, if I see a dude, I'm be like, all of a sudden she's in the freezer picking shit up. Y'all did this. You all did this. Trying to compete with a chick that's not compatible. That's like an average everyday Joe trying to compete with a dude who's like a CEO or something, like drives $1 million car. Why is this so important to you? You're not there. For lack of a better word, because this seems how y'all view it, you lost. Take your L, grab your average Joe, go the fuck home.
I used to ask people, well, how did you meet your husband? I don't even ask anymore. I'm just like, oh, good for you. But they all asked her. They were like, how'd you meet your husband? How'd you meet your husband? And I think she was confused because she was like it's hard, And honestly, she met the dude just at a bar. He came up to talk to her, Of course he did, right? So when I experienced that event, I was like, wow, I'm still not good enough, even all dressed up like this. Then I went out to a lounge a little bit later, walked in, nobody made eye contact with me, nobody. Men have always sort of regarded me as, oh, she's there, and kept it moving. And it didn't change just because I had dressed myself up. I'd finally done everything a girl is supposed to do, right? And I still wasn't good enough. So I came home.
Supposed to do? Who told her I was supposed to do that? No, just look. It's like the dressing up that she's talking about. Nobody. That's not a requirement. Men don't typically require that. Do we want our girls to look good? No shit. But what dude ever said some shit about a lace front? I need a lace front. I need a girl with a lace front. I need a girl. Whatever natural beauty is that he could pop, the best natural beauty he could get, it's kind of what he wants.
Great night out with friends, but my heart was also, I was hurting because I was like, I'm always going to be invisible, even if I try, you know? So I actually got on YouTube and started looking for pretty privilege. And that's how I found out that there are videos out there. There are videos out there with people that have a much different perspective. And then there was a video of a TikTok trend. This girl was like, oh, I'll just show it to you.
Tell me you have pretty privilege without actually telling me that you have pretty privilege. I'll start us off. I don't get ID'd.
So yeah, so after sharing her story about not getting ID'd, which by the way, I've gotten kicked out of the Apple store before because someone thought that my driver's license was not my actual driver's license. They were right. I've been removed from clubs when I was underage. Like once I was at a club in DC with these two girls and they found out we were underage or I was underage and they kicked us all out. And it was me, I was the one black girl and I was with two white girls. And the white girl turned around to me and she goes, I thought I thought they'd let us stay in there because we were with you. And I just looked at her and I said, that's how it goes for me. Like I don't get special treatment. And when I saw the video that this kid made, it made me, I swear to God, I had like secondary trauma just from watching it and just thinking back at all the times that I've had terrible times in nightclubs because people are very, very clear with me, you are not special. And then people started adding on to her TikTok trend, right? They started telling their stories, when I go out, I never have to pay for drinks, or guys always buy my drinks and my friends' drinks. So my friends know when they go out with me, they're drinking for free. There were girls who were talking about, when I go out, when I'm on social media, I constantly wake up with money in my Venmo and in my Cash App because dudes are just sending me money. I really was bothered by that.
Is that the top 1% of women? Because I've never seen a chick, and I've joked about it, but I've never actually seen a chick, and it's like, I think I'm a sender Venmo just because. And I know dudes do the OnlyFans things, but do they really send money to random chicks they met at the bar or the club or just passing by? And how the fuck do they get the Venmo? Are you are you comparing yourself to women who have like sex work kind of sort of attached to them? Because then yes, they will get Venmo. I don't know, but it sounds like that's what that is.
Because every guy I've ever met, I always feel like he's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to money. And let me tell you something. I grew up being very well taken care of. So I talked about it in my Saweetie and Quavo video. And if you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. But I'm always going to be suspicious of transactional relationships where, I never expect a man to just take me on a shopping spree. I'm actually very giving. I'm very, I always make sure I'm employed. I have, when I was young,
Make sure you're employed. Oh, because you're not pretty. God, do y'all realize the shit y'all admit to? If I was pretty, I'd be fucking lazy. Damn. Okay. The men I meet are the bottom of the barrel financially. All of them that you meet. So no guy No guy that works at like a plant that makes okay money, average money, asks you out. No guy that makes average money is ever in your circumference. Never, never. I This sounds like extreme cap in this video. Extreme cap in this video. Having um having a man take care of you is not pretty privilege. Having a man do what she's like the second thing she said was taking on a shopping spree. That's more so pretty privilege. So like I said, I think maybe they're like, I think maybe she's. I'll give her a benefit of the doubt if she's just accidentally just off the top of her head rambling stuff off. I'll go with that.
I would refuse to even get in a relationship with a dude unless I was working a full-time job. Like, that's how hard I am on myself about bringing something to the table. But to know that there are women that just wake up and
Ladies, you can't replace anything with your money. Let's make that clear. You can't replace anything. He's still going to see you just as attractive as he saw you before. You can't replace it. So this idea of making sure you have a full, why don't you make sure you have a full-time job is like you're grown and living solo. I mean, that's a reason to have a full-time job if you're an adult.
in the morning and go check their social media accounts and there's thousands of dollars in there just because they're pretty, it really messed with me. So I saw all of that stuff and I was like, I want to talk about my life just not having pretty privilege, and like I want to be honest about some of the things that I've experienced because I want to. So I mentioned my dating a little bit, how I always kind of find dudes that are not willing to spend the money, or they don't have the money. And while I do think part of that is because I'm uncomfortable with transactional relationships, I think another part of that is because men who consider themselves to be high earners, they consider themselves to be high value men. They are looking for high value women. This is why someone like Lori Harvey or Sierra or even a Cassie, they're not role models to me, and they never were. I know, like when Sierra got with Russell, there was all this talk about, oh girl, what prayer did you pray? What prayer? I could sit up here all day. I could live 24 hours a day in a convent just praying to Jesus, please, please. I honestly believe that there are certain levels in society, and certain men at certain levels are looking for a certain type of woman. Sierra was not just your regular, schmegular girl, okay? She's not a 7th grade English teacher from, nowhere city, the United States. I'm just being honest. Sierra is gorgeous. She's 5'10". She's a model. She is a...
I got a little annoyed because it sounded like she said that as like she was in shock. People on certain levels, they want people on certain levels. Yes. You didn't talk shit, but you mentioned that the guys are bound with a bear financially. You don't want that, right? Because that's what it sounds like, right? You are talking about play.
Grammy winning or Grammy nominated recording star. I'm not sure if she has a Grammy, but she's a recording star. Her husband even said, Russell even said, I found her and I knew I wanted her when I saw that Ride video that she made. So he connected with her because she was starring in her own music video. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Sierra's not a regular person. So whenever anybody says, oh, what prayer did you pray? I'm like, there are women living on that Sierra level. Like, there are women who are able to get that kind of man. It's not me, because I don't have that kind of privilege, but it's happening. Same thing with Lori Harvey. Like, I don't believe in, I will admit when a woman is beautiful. I'm not a jealous person, but I am a self-preservation person. So, for example, I won't hang out with a certain type of person, or when I was younger, I wouldn't hang out with someone if I knew that when she goes out, guys are all over her. Because I had a friend who that was the case. And when I tell you, I used to get, like, one time a dude stepped on my foot and hit me with his elbow to to get to her. Not on purpose, he was just moving so fast, like knocked me out of the way. I was nothing. I've been in situations where I've had to just go sit by myself while my friend is being entertained or entertaining someone. And nobody talks to me the whole night. So I don't like being left out. I don't like it being very, very clear that they're only talking to me.
Where are you going where you're invisible? Stop. Did you used to be 300 pounds? Because I refuse to believe that everywhere you go, you just never got to talk to. Where the fuck did you go? You went somewhere where the men there had confidence to approach women, but never to approach you. Or damn near almost never. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think a lot of this is just to make the video a little more dramatic than what it is, because it's cap. It's all cap. Replace that headband with a cap. It's all cap.
Because I'm with the hot one. So I would never hang out with a Lori Harvey. You know what? Let me back up. I would go with her to like get a coffee. Absolutely. I would go shopping in the mall. Yes.
The mall.
I would even go have an early dinner. So things that are low pressure socially, where it's not going to be just so clear that one of us is really, really, hot and the other one isn't. Because I've been in those situations, right? Where if you don't.
Fellas, you ever like not been able to ride with like your baller friend? You ever not been able to hang out with your player friend? I've never been just in a situation and then like the dude who's getting all the women, and I'm just like, oh, I can never hang out with this guy again. Getting too many bitches. Like it's never. So I just never thought that way. So I'm trying to figure out, is this is how like damn near, I want to say all, but I'll just say damn near all women think. I remember in my longest relationship, she will always tell me some shit about who was looking at who, or one of us. Some guy. You didn't see that one guy was looking at me. You weren't looking, like I saw me, like he got getting like head nods, like blah blah blah. Or that girl, like, dude, nigga. One time we're at McDonald's. She got my drink wrong. She put ice in it when I said no ice. So I got like, yo, I said no ice. And then she tried to grab a cup. I'm like, but can I keep this one? She's like, and then she gave me another one with no ice. And her response, oh, you're flirting with her. I'm pretty sure she's been in situations where the dude was kind of like trying to get somewhere with her. And her response was like, that pretty girl is getting all the attention. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I will. Oh, you don't work here? I'm pretty sure that happened like a million times.
Don't have pretty privilege, it just feels like you're completely invisible. And I hate that. Just talking about my dating life, I do definitely feel like, as a woman who doesn't have pretty privilege, because when I go out, men aren't like, their red flags aren't up for me. They're not looking for me. I often am invisible, I'm ignored, and I feel like it's a lot of the reason why I have such a small amount of relationship experience at my old age. It's like I'm not there. I'm the invisible woman. And I also think it's why I developed such a loud mouth. I have people all the time tell me, oh my God, you're
Stop it. Stop. No. Stop. Look, why am I for bad attitude? It's a question I would have for her.
you're so loud, you're so animated, I have to be so that I matter. One of the things that women can do when they have pretty privilege is just be there and they matter. They can just be standing there. They can do a little laugh and they're the greatest thing in the world. Whereas me, I gotta come with the jokes. I gotta come with stories. I gotta come with support. I gotta do so much more.
That turns into a bro. That is the version of Not even the nice guy. That's the version of like, hey, I want to like be your like big brother and like do all the shit. That's the equivalent to that. You become a bro in that instance.
more just to matter. For example, the other week I was on a plane. That's right, during this pandemic time. But I received both my vaccination shots, and everyone was wearing a mask. So whatever. But I'm on a plane, and I was flying back to LA for something. And this guy got on the plane with me, and we had connected. And by connected, I just mean we'd been standing in the same spot in the airport a couple different times, and every time we'd been standing in the same spot, he didn't really look at me, didn't smile at me. Oh, by the way, I 100% feel, I'll talk about my relationship like with men, but Steve Harvey said a couple weeks ago, he's not really friendly with women unless he wants to date them. And everybody gave him such a hard time. He didn't lie. That's a lot of men. But anyway, so me and this guy, we had been standing in the same place a lot of the time, and he didn't really look at me, didn't smile at me, didn't give me any kind of special treatment, right? He gets on the plane, and I'm sitting here, he's sitting here, he gets on after me, and he sits down next to this girl, and she had her mask on, but she was he's a black man, I was black. I was black. I'm black, he's black. This girl was not black. And I'm only saying that because I think darker skinned black women that aren't pretty, we pay like double the tax, right? And again, I'm not saying I personally feel that way about myself. I think I look fine. But based on the way I'm treated in society, I know I don't have pretty privilege. So I think darker skinned black women that don't have pretty privilege, we pay double the tax. But anyway, and by double the tax, I just mean people are already going to write you off for so many things, and I consider those write-off as taxes. So you go into a situation for the first time and you're a woman, people might write you off. They might underestimate you. You go into the situation, you're a black woman, oh gosh, they might write you off. You're a dark-skinned black woman, now you're not even aesthetically pleasing. And then especially if you don't have pretty privilege.
Pretty, you're pretty. It's not. It's I don't know who told y'all this. It's not harder to be pretty because you're dark skinned. If you're pretty, you're pretty. Please, whatever. This idea of just like you have to pay. You're double penalized. Oh, you're dark skinned. Oh, and you're like, come on. Like this, so do light skinned black women have one penalty because they're black but light skinned? Doesn't make sense.
So I feel like I call those taxes, and I feel like the more things you have against you in a situation, the more tax you have to pay. Anyway, so he sits here, and so I sit here. He walks down a little bit further. He sits here next to this girl who is.
So why don't you just go even out the taxes and date a guy who has just as many taxes as you? I don't know, maybe 5'2". Maybe he's like 215. Make like $7 an hour, something like that. Why don't you just even out the taxes? How about that?
Is not African American. I think she was like Latina. She might have been Indian, something. She was like a lighter skinned woman, and she had like this curly hair, and she had a mask on, but you could tell from her eyes, like you could tell facial structure, you could tell she was pretty, right? So the guy he had said nothing to me the whole day. He immediately turns to her and starts making conversation. Within 2 minutes, she had his job that he does, his name. They connected on social media, and she was invited to a party in the Hollywood Hills that night. I lived in LA for 3.5 years. I went to a party in the Culver City Hills because I had a friend who lived there. I was never invited, and I thought about this, and I said, this is the kind of thing that can happen to you in Los Angeles if you have this kind of pretty privilege. It can. I used to have a friend, I did improv classes with her, and she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, guys stop me on the street when I'm driving, and they'll pull me over, and they want to talk to me, and they're like CEOs or this. When I tell you, most of the traumatic dating experiences I had in LA were because I was only matching with people who were like pizza delivery drivers. And no shame on those careers, but normally A guy that's in his 30s that's a pizza delivery driver, he is what the internet would call, he is down bad, as the internet would say. And also, it's a person that doesn't really have a lot of ambition. I noticed that a lot of men with real ambition, like they wanted to go out and become directors and creators, and they had just like powerful minds and hearts. They're also really chasing after a thing of beauty. And so if you're not that as a woman,
It's not pretty privilege. That's not privilege. They're chasing after literally the finer things in life in every area. That in no way relates to pretty privilege. It's, that's not a privilege. A human being is not a privilege.
you get men who don't have the ambition. They don't have those minds. They don't have those hearts. They're really just taking whatever. I also feel like that's why I ran into a lot of people who just wanted to keep it casual. I feel like I wasn't good enough. You know, they're still looking for that bright star, that woman that's going to make them open up on a random flight, you know? And so I definitely feel that.
Okay, so you say that you meet the guys who apparently aren't ambitious. So you meet. But you meet the guys who want to keep it casual because you're not good enough and they're still looking for that star. So are they just lazy but ambitious? Or do you kind of, just like every other woman, give your time to the guys who just, I guess, stand out more, or just the best looking or best talking or whatever? And then that guy, that version of you leave standing. Is that the possibility here? I bet it is.
When you're dating and you don't have pretty privilege, it just takes away from the magic of it. I have a friend who met her husband. I've talked about this before, but she literally said he looked across the room and was like, "What is that? Who is that?" And they're married to this day, expecting their second child. It was love at first sight. When you don't have pretty privilege, you don't get love at first sight. You know, I'm saying pretty privilege. And I'm.
Okay, that was pretty much the part where I think I seen and I got the idea that a lot of pretty privilege to women is not about literally getting things because you're pretty. It's literally about obtaining a guy who will give you the dream. All right, now she didn't say it verbatim there, but a lot of her, a handful of her stories went to, and then the guy who's attractive, 'cause I'm pretty sure if that guy was ugly as shit, or maybe he was sexual as hell to take the girl to the party, I don't think this would be a story. If that was an average everyday Joe, I don't think this would be a story. So let's go down to the comments. Like I said, 'cause while you may not have the physical features we've all been brainwashed into believing is the only standard of beauty, you most certainly have a beautiful spirit. I can't wait until we are all evolved enough to see past the smoke and mirrors. You are beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm not being a dick. No, she's not. She's not. She's okay. Like she said, she's okay. I don't why everybody has to be beautiful. Like there are levels. Beautiful, then there's successful, there's levels. How beautiful. One of the reasons I love this video is that she's not talking people with pretty privilege. She's just talking about her experiences. When will you guys understand that just because she acknowledges that she doesn't have pretty privileges, that doesn't mean she doesn't like how she looks? Moving on. I cannot believe so many people are still watching this. I was just recently talking to my boyfriend about this topic. Specifically, how many people are preaching protect black women, but a lot of them only have regard for black women that look like Lori Harvey or Beyonce. They're not taking into account darker skinned black women who don't align with Western beauty standards and typical IG model aesthetic. Okay, it sounds like you're talking about the guys who say that. Fine, but those guys are typically scammers. So yeah, you're right. Um, but what about the women who say protect black women? Who are they talking about? They're talking about all of them for some reason. Lori Hill. Also, do you live in Los Angeles, especially the Hollywood centric areas? It may be a huge part of your experience. LA men in the entertainment industry and in the fields look down on women on the wrong side of 24 years old. Seriously. If you do live there, consider leaving. Well, yeah. Why are you competing? Literally, models, I'm pretty sure, are going there to find like acting careers. And you're trying to compete with them. Oh, that's weird. I'm going to read just like two more. I think I'm like 45 minutes in. Never was considered pretty. I've always been skinny, tall for a woman, dark skin with natural 4C afro hair. Thought I wouldn't ever find love and didn't my first serious relationship until I was 21. And he was the one. I am happily married now at 24 to a beautiful man that loves me completely for who I am. It's a blessing to not have pretty privilege because the relationships we form are usually based more than lust. Better to have one or a few good men that take interest in you than a lot of random men that see less body in you. Okay, the second part I'll buy is best to have guys that you kind of know are there, for not for that specific reason, but beautiful women can have like those bonding relationships if they manage their partner's selection correctly. Which, when I have conversations with women, you all listen, real talk. You all tell me a lot of times when I have certain conversations with you that okay, let's take this phrase. But what if I fuck up? When we have these kind of conversations, that's what y'all say. But what if I fuck up? Pick the right baby daddy. But what if I fuck up? Pick I don't know. I think that's like the only decision that y'all really need to make in life. Last one. The way you articulated every point was phenomenal. A lot of people act like pretty privilege isn't a thing, but it is. It is good to see a side of the story rarely told. People think they can just tell people, gain some confidence, or change the way you look at yourself, but that only goes so far because pretty privilege society. All right, I really need to compare this, not pretty chicks, to like not game dudes, not rich guys, not. That's probably it. That's just average chick, average guy. This is kind of hilarious seeing this dialogue with women. Because, like I said, when men sit there and say shit like this, he get tore to shreds on these panels. You don't understand. They don't like short men. They don't like these men. They don't like. Well, they get pregnant by somebody, don't they? Those are the typical responses. No, you just don't want to. You don't get your craft together. Typical responses. Why don't every not pretty chick in this conversation go find the guy that's over in the panels and you know do the damn thing.
Friends. Like I just didn't have natural situations where I was talking to a group of guys, they were talking to, because none of my friends were hanging out with guys because I thought, and I proved, and I ended up being right, the guys didn't want to date us. So they were like, whatever.
All right, I'm in here. All right, that last statement was just full of shit. I don't know the context of it, but I know by what you said it was full of shit. Be right, not positive. Out.